First, I just want to say thanks so much to everybody for hopping on. We consider it an honor and a privilege for you guys to take the time to hang out with us in our virtual book tour. This is our fifth one that we've done, and it's truly been a blessing to connect with like-minded but like-hearted people, and so, everybody's doing great things, and so thankful to have great people on. And, like our hopes are, yes, to promote our books, but, give everybody opportunity to make some dynamic connections. And our hope is that from this, you guys will see, oh man, that's pretty cool. I need to reach out to her, or I need to connect with him, and then, we're sending you the contacts of the other ones. And the same thing, look those people up, reach out to them and make connections there. And so hopefully we can, strive to make our world a better place. So enough of me. Tammy, if you want to say a little bit, and then we let John jump in.
I'm just excited to have you guys. I feel like we have a great group tonight. I have enjoyed getting to know some of you, and I look forward to getting to know the other ones even more. I always like to start off with ways that we can support our favorite authors. And it doesn't mean you just have to buy books, but I love this post that I found about a year ago, so I like to share that. I encourage you guys to use it and share it, but there's so many ways we can help, our friends and colleagues that are authors. So I wanted to share that, and I look forward to hearing lots of good nuggets. I got my pen and paper ready.
Let's go.
All right. We're going to jump to John.
All right, John, you're up, my man.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate this opportunity. Forgive me about not really, knowing exactly how the format goes and what we talk about, but I'm just going to give you kind of the scoop on part of this book and sort of what the dream was behind it. I just, as I'm going through this quarantine of COVID and really just kind of trying to examine, what to do, what direction to take, and how to have a voice. And I just, I felt God kind of just directed me to build something and create something. And I felt like he had been stirring this in me for years, and I just found a way to talk myself out of it or be too busy. And, I've always been a writer. I've always been passionate at writing. And, this really was about a scripture that came to me in Matthew that talked about to be first, he needed to be last, and the last will be first. And, I just started kind of examining that scripture and realizing that leadership today really felt like it was kind of turned upside down from what the original blueprint kind of design was, from when God created everybody and created all of us to have some sort of leadership quality. So I just realized that I needed to have a voice of positivity, of encouragement for people, because I know we live in a world now where it seems like everywhere we turn, it's pick a side or divide a group of people or just come up with some sort of death comment that just speaks death over things and speaks negativity. So I just felt like my portion that God's given me, I wanted to do my portion. And whether it be small, whether it be big, whatever he wants to do with it, I just felt like it took a step of faith to just go out and create something. So as I started building this book, I didn't really intend for it to be a book, to be honest with you. I just wanted to write down daily devotionals of just encouragement and just different qualities in people that I thought made good leaders, and encouragement within, I guess, people that self-examine kind of where they're going in life and what they're good at. And I really wanted to just kind of be a light for those people that are really kind of tucked away and don't see themselves in that way. I just wanted to have words of encouragement. So I wrote down, I came up with 5-day devotionals originally. And, I talked to Chip through this process, and he's been a great encourager. He's been somebody who's walked this path. And he really has locked arms with me in this project and has encouraged me. He said, you've got a lot of content and it's really good content. He said, you need to just put it in a book. And I thought, I don't know that I'm an author. I found all the ways to disqualify myself, which ironically, I talk about in my book about how we do that to ourselves. So I think maybe I learned more from this book than anybody else, but he encouraged me to do it. So I just stepped out and did it. And it turned out to be really, really a great project. And so it basically goes into a 5-day there's about 9 different categories and 5 days each. And it's real practical. So that was my goal, was come up with something simple and practical that people would actually pick up, and it would actually translate into them walking this out. And so I tried to create just simple real world application. And so at the end of each chapter, I have a section that's called Up Close and Personal, that I thought being authentically transparent was crucial in this journey, because I think there are people that struggle with that. And I think the more I could be transparent and the more that I could just let people kind of look into some of the things that I've failed at and been good at, I felt like that would help them with the process of stepping out into who they're called to be. And there's also a place at the end that's called ATIs. And I came up with ATIs, and it's application through intentionality. And so there are 3 questions at the end of each section. And it's called each 3. One of the 3 is read through it, pray through it, and walk through it. And so there's read through it, which is encouraging folks to really dive into the word and find a scripture maybe in that particular area of application, and then pray over it. And then at the end, walk through it is find somebody that they trust, that they can kind of walk through and be accountable with. And Chip and I teach a class together at church, and it's really big on accountability and intentionality. And so I felt like this section was crucial for people to have something tangible. So the ATIs and the Up Close and Personal, I think, will really allow people to connect with me and some of the things I've walked through, and then really latch onto something within themselves to sort of springboard them into maybe what their calling is. At the very back, at the very end of the book, there are several scripture that apply to each category throughout the book. And then there's some questions that really challenge folks. I think it'll be a good group study book. I think, it's not too lengthy. It's not too thick conceptually. I think people can really unpack it and unpeel the layers of it pretty easily. And I think it's good for groups of folks, maybe 1 or 2, 3 people, to get together and really sort of dissect themselves and dissect this book and really try to apply it. I don't know if that's what you guys are looking for. If it's not, I really failed and wasted about 10 minutes of your life.
You're perfect, John. That was
perfect, man. Perfect.
So I don't know how long you guys want, but that really gives it a nutshell and sort of lets people kind of see what the intent behind it was.
Awesome.
Good deal, man. John, thanks so much for, talking about your book and being on. So happy for you. Just like you said, kind of walked the path together. I'm so thankful that, the big man has allowed you to put your thoughts and heart and words into that. And I think wholeheartedly think it'll be a blessing to so many people. So wish you the best of luck, man. And have fun with your daughter, man. Enjoy those precious moments.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's good to connect with you guys. I hope I can do this again. I hope we can maybe just kind of I appreciate you inviting me to the Facebook group, and I hope we can kind of build those long connections that can really sustain.
Let's do it.
So thank y'all.
Thank you, John.
Thank y'all. All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. Well, we're going to throw it back to Chip, and I don't think Chip needs an introduction here.
Okay, so the first book that I'm going to talk about is Effective Conversation to Ignite Relationships, and this is my second book. It's part of a 4-book series that Dr. Oliver T. Reed and I are doing. We've done 2. We still have 2 more to do on that, and the series is Solutions to Your Success. And so in our life, our life moves at the speed of our relationships. And what allows us to have great relationships is effective conversation in those relationships. And basically that's kind of what we talk about in that book is, we give some key tools based off of our experiences that we've had that will help people have great conversation to ignite their relationships, all types of relationships. And so that's been a pretty neat journey. We've done book tour. We've gone out and spoke at some certain places, and we'd love to do some of that with you guys too once we get through COVID. Come to some of your places and maybe do some real book tour and see you in person. But that's effective conversation to ignite relationships. And I'll go ahead and go to the second one, and you'll see I'll be pretty quick. I'm not much of a talk about me guy, but so then the second book is The Formula Chart for Life, and this is my most recent book that I just put out a few months ago. And growing up, I struggled with math. Barely passed every math class that I ever took. Really worked hard at it, but barely passed, and was glad to get that, especially in college. Man, I'll take it. I'm running with it, right? And really, I don't know if I quite passed them. I think the professor probably gave me those grades because they were tired of seeing me and asking questions, right? So, but I'll take it, and I ran with it, right? So, but fast forward, once I got into teaching and coaching, I teach special education. So I was able to use that to help students, as well as co-taught a chemistry class. And, in those math classes and chemistry classes, there's a formula chart, right? And with a formula chart, you just plug in, what you need to plug in, and then you get the answers. So I was like, man, that can apply to life, right? There's some things in life that we can just plug things in, and we have a formula for it. And so that is, why I created the formula chart for life. Yeah. And that's why I created that. And, it's a simple, not a lot of writing, like it's legit, like formulas, and you just go through. And the beauty of it is I did that for a person on purpose, because for one reason, I wanted it to be simple. And the other reason, I wanted it to be the reader's personal guide for their life. There's some scenarios and stories that, they know personally, and they can plug in their deal and get the answers that they need for their life. So that is the formula chart for life. And that's the two books that I'm highlighting this evening. And I'll throw it over to Tammy.
All right. I'm going to go back here, because if you guys didn't get Chip's information on social media, you are missing out. So lots of inspiration and encouragement. Some days I don't quite have it, and I see something from Chip, and it gets me going. So if you're not following him, make sure that you are.
Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that.
First book I wanted to briefly mention, and The Confident Athlete. That was my first book. And like Chip said, his worst subject in school was math. Well, mine was writing. And so The Confident Athlete was actually without saying it was my story, it was my evolution of having the confidence to realize that I could write and to throw away the negatives. So much of our confidence is what we say and we think and we do. And so I've just put 4 easy steps that we can build and maintain confidence. Easy read, sharing stories. But that was the first one that kind of has changed my life and catapulted into this is good. And this is good is a motto that I have used forever. I wear it on my wrist here. It's backwards, upside down. But it's, can we find the good in everything that happens?
Right.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? There's so much negative out there, and I think our brains are predispositioned to just grab a hold of the negative instead of just saying, wait a minute, what is good, or can I keep myself mentally alive to allow that good to come into my life instead of just shutting off our brains? And so this is a journey that I had with the team that I work with, and all of the techniques, strategies that we use that help us overcome adversity. I had started it before COVID, did not realize how much it could apply to everything that we're all facing today. I have to read through the book, a page here, a page there every day, just to grab something to make sure that I'm staying strong and positive and being able to encourage others with that. So this is good. It's a story. It's based off an African folklore that, again, it's finding the good in everything that happens. And I share my journey, personal journey with the team I worked with. So I'm kind of like Chip, and I don't want to say too much more because I want to hear from the rest of you guys. But if you're struggling with any adversity, then reach out. I would love to help you with it. And I have the link if anyone would like to read the African folktale. Last thing, sorry, Chip.
Oh, you're good.
Last thing I just want to throw out is my confidence calendar. Freebie I do every month. Selfishly, I do it for myself because if I'm having to create it and post about it every day, that's making sure I live it. Then if it helps to encourage someone else, then that's a double win for me. So if you would like to get it monthly, just send me an email, or you can, the link down below to sign up for the email list. But, you know, confidence, which is the key to overcoming adversity, the key to being happy, is created by what we do, say, and think every day. And so it's just trying to make it simple and focus on this today and watch your confidence blossom. So thank you, guys. I'm excited to hear from the rest of you.
Hey, Tammy,
Yes.
this is good.
Yes.
Hey, I'll wait for that every time. All right, so we'll move on. Thank you so much, Tammy. Our next author, I'm so excited for you guys to hear what she has to talk about. She's doing some great things, and she has not only, I don't know, done her thing, but she's doing her thing in a way that truly impacts so many other people, and that's what makes it really special. So, Ashley, you're up next.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all. I hope I'm not too loud, but I'm Ashley Marie Knight, aka Ashley Free. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, but I now live in Killeen, right outside of Fort Hood, near the military base here. And so I'm super excited to be on this platform. I always love to get further collaboration or connections with other authors. And so the book that we're talking about today, first I wanted to say there are 4 generations of authors in my family. So my grandma established a footprint for us, and her writing her first book was called Don't Give Up. And so what y'all were talking about really, made me remember her even more about, we always have to get refueled. And what are we refueling ourselves with other than other content, or utilizing the experiences that we face to really project into a positive way? And so I love what everybody has already said. And so with that platform that my grandma established with Don't Give Up, I've started writing, then my 2 other daughters are authors as well. And so we started this Here I Am project, which is authored by young girls ages 11 through 18. So these are all young authors, 7 young ladies who write letters to a friend, and they write amazing letters to a friend, because when I grew up, we were supposed to be seen and not heard. And for the children living in the world today, they have voices, they have dreams, they have aspirations, but how do you really get there? How do you really reach those goals, especially if your environment doesn't assist that? And so we have those conversations to kind of combat our environment, combat our given situations to still achieve our goals. And so they have great conversations talking about real life situations like suicide, or being disappointed and never receiving that apology. As adults, it's kind of hard to have that bad situation and then know you're never going to get a sorry, you're never going to get an apology, but some people dwell on that. And for the youth, I had to teach them, I felt in my heart that this is an important subject to have, because if you're still dwelling and waiting on that sorry, or that for someone to come to you and to really help you bond beyond the hurt that they caused you, you're stuck. And so I taught them to write themselves that apology. Sometimes you'll never receive that apology, but establish that apology for yourself, apologizing for everything that you might feel, writing all that down. And so they wrote these letters to other individuals that might not never receive that apology. And if they read these apologies from these girls, that could close the gaps to the hurt or the disappointments that they face. And then they go into so much more, talking about, a drug abuse and peer pressure. And so for these youth to really utilize their voices and to be seen and not invisible, it was such a powerful book. And like everybody else has said, most of the stuff we do is not just for the people that we influence, but it also assisted us. And it was a great positive journey for us as well. And so watching these girls write this content down and to influence the youth like they are has really touched me. So to do more, and the youth are my heart. They are my passion. The youth are our future. The next generation is our future. And I always try to, influence them, because for me, it was those student counselors and those teachers who really told me, Ashley, you can get beyond where we are right now. You can go further. All those different dreams that you have are possible. And so from there, that's how I joined the military and served 10 years in the military, and then transitioned into the authorship journey that I am in now. And so transitioning from that, I have now established a bookstore, which is amazing. It has blown my mind. Yeah. Just to connect with other authors and children. I mean, the youngest author I have in my bookstore is 7 years old now. When I was 7, I was not writing a book. I was not even thinking about, building products or revenue at 7 years old with stories. And these young people are really doing great work with their writing. And so my bookstore really highlights independent authors from all across the nation, because we travel to all the military installations on tour. And so I'm super excited to connect with you all, and I look forward to future collaborations and efforts with you all and joint ventures.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Like I said, just making a positive difference, not just with what she's doing, but truly reaching back and giving back. And so it's great stuff. All right. Our next author is Tristan Jackson. She didn't make it on. She probably had something come up, so we'll go to the next one. All right. My guy Dan is up. Help them up. I'm excited to hear him talk about his book. So let's go, man. You're up.
Go get it. Let's
go get it, baby. Let's go.
Oh,
hey,
man.
I'm going to start out with a boom.
Boom. Let's
go.
Well, I think, one, I just want to say thank you to you, Chip. I think Tammy kind of hit on it. Just your social media stuff is awesome. And I texted my twin brother yesterday with that, I'm not going to say it correctly, but like when a vase or something breaks pottery and how they fill it with gold or silver, and that just makes it even more valuable. Man. Little things like that keep you going. So I appreciate that. And I have a little demonstration. So Tammy's been with me. You guys have all went through this process as authors, but this is where we're at now. But this was everything that went into it, and just all the editing, and Tammy helped me with the book cover and the formatting, just to reach out to people that could help me. So I talk about the team first mentality a lot, and grateful to just have a good team and resource system in place. So so with that, I guess just a little bit about the book is that it's for players and coaches. So for basketball players, I do think a lot of the principles translate to team sports in general. But basically, it's just trying to help people have more fun with the game of basketball. I think that life is, so short and time is precious. So I think there's a lot of things that we can get through sport as a platform. And I think that it's important for coaches and players to be aware of these things. So I guess just an example is say, we have team A and team B. So a phrase I like is outcome aware and process driven. So team A and team B wants to win equally as much, but what can we do from the start of the jump ball to the end of the game, to really control it? And so I think things like the referees and the ball going in the basket, you can't control at all. But if an example of a principle in the book is if a player goes up for a shot, gets knocked down, all 4 teammates run and pick them up. So that's where help them up comes from. It's for boys and girls, men and women. So usually we help him up, help her up. And you help them up, because they just sacrifice their body for the team. And then you get in a tight huddle. And during that time, you can offer positive talk. You can call a play. Somebody can make a joke. And, just to keep everybody going, but also stay together. I just think that's so important. And then when that player goes to the free throw line, the Miami Heat, awesome team for culture, they shoot a free throw and all 4 guys run over, give them a high five and offer something positive. Like, you got this, or even if you missed it, make the next one. So there's little things that go into basketball that I think really add up to being successful on the scoreboard. And I just don't think a lot of teams do it consistently. So, I'm only 25 years old. I don't have a ton of credibility. But what I did for the past 8 years was just reach out to the top teams in the country. So my basketball team at Newberry was 13-87. So, tell 10-year-old Dan that, college basketball, you're going to win 13 games. And I don't regret it because the people were awesome, but I got all the losing out of the way. So I know what it takes to lose. And then I spoke with all the teams that win. So Tufts University women's basketball probably is the best culture I've ever seen. And the Division III basketball player of the year, her brother's one of my best friends. So I've been following them. And then on the men's side, Swarthmore College was the #1 team in the country for basketball. And I've just, people love to talk about what they're passionate about, as all you guys do. And, so they will talk to me, and I'm willing to listen and be a sponge. So I just learned these little things that take no talent at all. So the kid that's on the bench that doesn't play a lot, but it can still add value. So I think the best thing about the book is that, one, it doesn't take any talent to do any of these things. But if a coach takes them and makes them or uses them as a foundation of their basketball program, I think, one, they're going to create a safe environment. It's okay to embrace mistakes and mess up because that's expected. 2, every player is going to feel valued, which I just think is so important in a team. Every member can add value, especially with their actions and words. 3, just have a voice. I think the best teams, everybody can speak up. And if, that player that doesn't play at all but has a really good idea, he should feel confident to speak up and help the team out if he can. And then lastly, just having joy. I think joy is so important. And I think happiness is more about the result. Like, we won, yay, I'm happy. Or Newberry College, oh, we lost again, not so happy. But if you find joy in the everyday, just battling with your teammates and you just really care and love about those people, you're going to enjoy the experience. So it's interactive, so players can write in the book and evaluate their leadership, and then coaches can use the action exercise to practice the principles. So, it was definitely a passion project that led to a book, and here we are. We made it. I never thought I would be somebody speaking here, so definitely a little nervous, but it's very cool just connecting with all you guys, and just want to say congrats to all of you. I know the journey to be in book publishing or to write a book, whatever it may be, is not easy. So I think it's a nice little community that we have.
Well, Dan, I want to add, I've read the book, and it's so simple yet strong statements that he gives. And don't sell yourself short. This is stuff that anybody can use, not just basketball coaches and players. So you've done a great job, and I'm excited for you.
Oh, thank you, Terry. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know if we can hear Chip.
Yep. We lose Chip?
Yeah, I probably ought to take myself off of mute, huh?
That
That might help, guys. All right. So, can you hear me now? All right. Good.
We got yeah.
Okay, good. All right. But thanks, man, Dan. Good stuff. Thanks so much for sharing. Good process. Excited for you for what's about to come for you with your book and things that you're about to venture into. So, man, get ready.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Our next author, and I want to make sure, Andrea or Andrea, I want to make sure I do that right.
Andrea's fine.
Okay. So let me make sure you're okay. So our next author, Miss Andrea, is coming up. Excited to hear her story and hear about her book. So you're up, Andrea. Let's get it.
Thank you. Thanks, Chip, and thank you, Tammy, for giving me this opportunity. It's awesome to meet everybody and support and connect with everyone. So I look forward to doing that more in the future. I'm excited to tell you about Take Me Home. So I've spent about 20 years in education as a teacher and a reading specialist and an English language learner teacher right outside of Philadelphia. And in all of my time in education, my most meaningful work has come from working with English language learners. So after spending about 10 years with these families and students, and they're from all over the world, I felt this strong calling to create a true story that shares the experiences, but from a bird's eye view. I felt like we always read about our students. We read about their language and their country. We can identify their customs, their process of assimilation, their visa process, etc. But we never really had a chance to get a bird's eye view of what their experience is like after they've achieved their goals. So the language, the trauma, the heartache, the visa land waiting, that's some photos of the students that are represented in the book there. They have a lot of confusion and doubt and fear and joy, satisfactions, distractions. And that's what I kind of call the storm of experiencing a new country. But we also never hear about the bilingual kids who are born here. And from the moment they step on school soil, how they have this kind of innate understanding and appreciation for all of the others who hold this, they call it a secret party trick of being bilingual. And I've kind of got to experience that firsthand in different ways and travels I've done and feeling those things. But I feel like right now our education community really feels those things. They feel homeless. Teachers, students, families are in this state of survival that some veteran staff haven't experienced for over 20 years. And they have fear and tears and joys and small successes, and they're problem solving, and they've been more challenged than ever. But what's interesting about it is our ELL families have already had these experiences. We're trying to learn a new language. It's called Zoom and Cami and Nearpod and Canvas and Google Classroom and coding. And we have this sense of chaos, and it's really exhausting. Our home looks different, our schools look different, our schedules are different, the layouts are different. And the best part is when we try to talk to people online, a lot of our guys just stare at us, and things are changing really rapidly. But although this is a really testing time for us, I was able to take a step back with appreciation and understand what our ELL students and families have already went through. All of the things that we're really trying to navigate right now directly relates to what they've already conquered. Language, schedule, location, customs, traditions, it's no problem. They've already learned how to break through that brick wall that could have contained them, and I just feel like it's something to be admired. So Take Me Home is kind of based on a lot of that background. It's based on true stories. It was created from countless interviews that I did with my former students from every continent around the world who are now in their late 20s and early 30s and very successful in life. And I also was able to meet with one of my students' families of my student who passed away. She was hit tragically on the train tracks about a block from my school. So I was actually moved to write this book based on all their experiences and her death a few years ago. So it allowed me to create some really great, true stories with vignettes and characters. So the people in the picture are represented there, but their names have been changed. So get ready to meet characters like Fuel and Grit and Chance and Evidence and Plunge and Volt and Embrace and a few others. And they're ready to show the world that learning a second language should be considered an asset and never a handicap. I hope that when people read this book, they feel that disorientation and exasperation and dedication and motivation that lies beneath the language barrier that some people only choose to see. And I hope that those who read it who are bilingual or who have learned to be bilingual read this book and can connect with a character who became just as brave as they were. I want them to respect and accept and admire themselves for the journey that they've taken as well. And I hope that next time when anyone meets a person with an accent or a broken sentence or sees some unsure eyes flickering from side to side, they think of this book. They think of Take Me Home, and they extend their hand and they offer an encouraging hello. Because I hope they see that while people are in this nest of growth, when they're learning something new, they need that 10 feet of vitamin C, like John Gordon says, and positive leadership. They need that around them all the time. I think everybody does. And they're really depending on us to help them leave that nest and fly. So this book is really a tribute to that and to all of these guys. I still have a rapport with all of them, and I love hearing about their successes. They're very excited about being represented in these stories. And this book is actually in the process of being published now, and it will be arriving in spring of 2021. So it's my very first book. I've been writing for quite some time, but this experience really gave me the confidence to put it out there. So thank you so much.
Well, I am in awe of what you do and the difference that you're trying to make. Andrea shared with me her introduction and first chapter, and I was just speechless and had so many emotions after reading it. So I can't wait for the finished product.
Thank you.
Well, I just got to tell you, man, it took everything for me not to give you a few booms in there while you were talking. I was trying to let you get finished, and I'm proud of myself that I did good. It's like, man, you are, like what you're talking about is right up my alley. I'm a 4th generation educator, and I absolutely love it, right?
Thank you.
All of that you were talking about, man, I can attest to that. I've lived that life on both sides,
Wow.
and so, man, great stuff. So good.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm still new to the technology piece of connecting with people, but I did create Andrea Bittner Books on Instagram. It's going under the name Bittner because I was Miss Bittner when I taught all of these guys. So I felt like that's just the right writer name to have, as an attribute to that experience. And I'm also at Andrea Bittner on Twitter and as well. So I would love to connect with everybody via our Facebook page. I can't wait to see everyone's connections.
Well, there it is. Thank you so much for sharing. I think that's all of our authors there, right, Tammy?
That's it. Yeah.
All right. You want to do a spill on that? Tell everybody about the book tours.
So tonight was our 5th one, and just an amazing group. I mean, the difference that you all are making in your own little niches and areas, it is just amazing. And it's what we need more of right now, and what we need to promote more of right now. So I'm honored just to be on the same Zoom as you guys, and just excited. It gives me hope and positivity. The past 4, we've had some amazing speakers as well.
Yes.
Here are the 4. If you haven't looked at them, I encourage you to go back and view them. And Chip and I are just blessed. It's amazing that we need a better vocabulary when we get off here and we're talking. We're like, wow, we are really blessed to connect with so many people that are doing such great works.
No doubt. I second that, Tammy. It's great stuff. And just like, we were saying at the beginning, the goal is to, have us, be connected, with like-minded, like-hearted people. We can do that. That makes our web of positivity, web of greatness, web of love, makes it even better for the world when we can come together and do those things. So to me, that's what it's all about.
Well, we appreciate everybody being on here tonight, and please reach out, connect with each other. If you are on here listening, reach out, connect with us. Grab a book, let it inspire you, let it motivate you to do something to make a difference. Again, I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Go get it.
Thank you.
Thank you.